Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Rain is moving into our area. I'll show you how long you'll have to deal with it this afternoon.
All new at noon, we now know what prompted police to issue an Amber Alert for an infant, and more about the background of the parents who are still on the run.
And NC State University's chancellor issues a video statement about the contamination at Poe Hall, where the investigation stands today.
The rain is working its way towards the triangle right now. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. We can already see it falling at Dorothea Dix Park here. Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at when the rain will arrive where you are.
This rain is moving a little faster than the models are showing this morning. So we already have some rain spread across a good bit of the viewing area. A lot of thunder and lightning this morning that we were watching, especially up into the Ohio Valley. Notice how that has really fizzled out. There's very little of that left up into Virginia. Most of it has moved well to the north. So we are unlikely to see any thunderstorms with this. What we'll see is some scattered light rain. We do have a band that's sitting right over Wake County right now, but some of the light bands have moved all the way east toward I-95. But the rain is very scattered at this point. We're seeing a little bit of rain from Raleigh north up toward Wake Forest, a little break back to the west, and there's a good bit more from Siler City back toward Greensboro and Asheboro, and all of that will be working its way into our region. Most likely you're going to see at least 3 hours of rain on and off this afternoon. So we take a look at Futurecast and we'll push it on ahead. Notice at 2 o'clock, plenty of rain across our area, but it does scatter as we get into the afternoon. At 5 o'clock, there's still some rain lingering for the evening commute, and it may cause some additional accidents or slowdowns for your evening commute. So keep that in mind. Pretty quickly thereafter, though, it's moving out of the viewing area. By 7 o'clock, it's mostly out of here, still just lingering in some of our northeastern counties. And the bulk of tonight will be on the drier side. From time to time, especially after midnight, we'll have a few light showers that show up. This is 5 a.m. That last little bit lifts away from us, and it looks like our morning commute for the most part tomorrow is going to be on the dry side. Now, there could be a little drizzle or some sprinkles, but nothing heavy coming through. The cold front comes in the afternoon, and this is a little slower than our last look at it. And so by 4 or 5 o'clock, it's starting to move into the viewing area. By 6 o'clock, it's moving through the triangle area. And by 7, the bulk of it is starting to move eastward, and we'll begin to see some clearing. Wind is going to be a big issue with this tomorrow, and I'll show you how strong the winds will be coming up.
We have new information this noon about the parents who are on the run after they abandoned their 8-day-old baby in Durham after an Amber Alert was issued. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan is at the Big Lots store in Durham where the couple left their car. It's still there. And Chelsea, you have new information today regarding that Amber Alert, why it was issued on the parents, as well as their criminal backgrounds.
Yeah, we just got some new information just about 5 minutes ago from Chapel Hill Police. They were notified by Child Protective Services in Orange County. They were notified on Friday that they had a court order for custody for baby Jackson, and they were requesting assistance in locating him. You mentioned the vehicle. Here it is a day later, or the morning after, still abandoned in this parking lot in Big Lots. You can see the window down. The parents took 8-day-old baby Jackson out of the car, according to security video from inside of the Big Lots. They walked into the woods. The baby, though, was found around 8:45 near where they left this car. Take a look at video we captured of the inside of the car. You can see food, baby blankets, a hat, and the base for a car seat carrier. Chapel Hill Police issued that Amber Alert around 7 o'clock last night. They did say that baby Jackson was in danger. The parents, Justin Brown and Destiny Cothran, now on the runs. Police tell me they have no idea where they are today, but we did find this morning that both parents have a history of drug charges and convictions. We also found that Destiny had a civil summons filed against her in Orange County 2 weeks ago for failure to pay child support on her 3 other children. She also has a pending heroin charge in Orange County, where she was found slumped over in her car unconscious in May of last year. Coming back out here live. This, of course, is the Mercury that the parents were riding in, abandoned here at the Big Lots in Durham. And so, of course, this obviously would be evidence in the case, but we still have no idea where the parents are. Chapel Hill police say the couple and the baby last seen at the Red Roof Inn on Friday on Durham Chapel Hill Boulevard. So many unanswered questions in this case. We're working to uncover more with police, and we'll bring that to you in our later newscasts and on WRAL.com.
We're waiting for that mystery to unfold. All right, Chelsea Donovan live in Durham for us. Thank you.
Less than a week after a revelatory 5 on Your Side story on Poe Hall, NC State's Chancellor Randy Woodson speaks on camera for the first time about it.
It's complicated, and it will take time. And please know that our teams are working tirelessly to get answers as quickly as possible.
5 on Your Side's Keely Arthur joins us now with how the chancellor addressed this issue that you've been covering extensively. Keely.
Renee, at many times throughout his 2-minute address, Chancellor Randy Woodson directly responds to the complaints brought forth by the people in our stories. I want you to take a listen to what a former student said about the university's handling of Poe Hall in our story that aired last Thursday, talking about the fact that NC State closed down Poe Hall due to toxic chemicals, but has not spoken to the nearly 200 people who say they became sick after spending time in the building, including a woman named Sandy who was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Looking at alumni, you're looking at staff, you're looking at people that you said were important to the university. Okay. Tell us that we are.
And 5 days later, here is what Chancellor Woodson said.
Please know that we care very much about you. It's what motivates us in this work.
NC State closed Poe Hall in November following complaints of air quality and reports of cancer. Testing revealed high levels of toxic chemicals known as PCBs. PCBs are cancer-causing chemicals that were once used in building construction but later outlawed. PCBs can also cause a myriad of other health issues. Now, Woodson's statement expressed empathy but did not present any new developments. NC State says it's staying the course, letting a consulting firm it hired test the building. They reopened their health investigation with the CDC following another 5 on Your Side report. So all these stories, all these people coming forward to us, it's working. The university is watching and they're listening.
We know you're staying on top of this story. Keely Arthur, thank you. St. Augustine's University is awaiting a decision on their accreditation appeal. The interim president told us that is expected today from the school's accrediting board. It's unclear if that decision will be made public. The interim president says the university will file a lawsuit if it loses accreditation.
A Raleigh attorney is back in custody now, charged with taking indecent liberties with a child. Court documents indicate this is connected to his initial charge of felony secret peeping. Timothy Lyons turned himself in last week on that charge and was released on $5,000 bond. Now he's back in custody with no bond. No word on his court date. A person is in the hospital after being stabbed in Raleigh. It happened at this home on Glasscock Street around 4 a.m. Police say a person is in custody out of this, and the WRAL Breaking News Tracker was there as investigators collected evidence and took pictures of the scene. Police say the person who was stabbed is expected to recover.
Top congressional leaders are meeting with President Biden as Congress works toward another government shutdown deadline. If lawmakers do not reach an agreement by the end of the day on March 1st, that's Friday, multiple departments will be cut off from funding. Rebecca Castor explains.
With military aid for U.S. allies still on hold and the government just days away from a shutdown, President Biden is summoning the top Republican and Democrat lawmakers to the White House Tuesday.
It's important that we get an up or down vote on the bipartisan national security bill that has passed the Senate and also avoid a government shutdown and all.
Happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, the city of Sanford is expected to get more than 100 new jobs, and it's all thanks to a Japanese pharmaceutical research company called Kyowa Kirin. I want to show you the company here. This is their website. It's all thanks to them. This is an exchange for jobs and millions of dollars in promised capital in Lee County. The company will receive $2 million in tax breaks and other incentives. That's what they will get. But the local city and county government in Sanford also kicking in additional $8 million. Workers, they say, will earn an average of $91,000 a year. And Lee County is already home to several other pharmaceutical companies, including the large Pfizer plant.
National Women's Soccer League and Nike unveiled a uniform reset this morning. We have the North Carolina Courage New Jersey right here to show you this. The uniforms were designed with inspiration from each team's pride in their community, and each celebrate the connection between the players and the fans. I'm going to grab it right here while I have a quick second because I want to show you how cool this is. It's really neat. The Courage, they have a diffused red and a diffused blue version in this. So I'm going to get it right side up here for just a quick second here and show this to you. This is the blue version with the triangles. Look at the triangles in the middle of it, and that is to represent each team in the league got new jerseys. This one represents the jersey that is for the triangle region. You know, it's pretty neat. And then down at the bottom, be greater than seem, right there, which is a nod to the official state motto, which is to be rather than to seem. Okay, and they'll debut these Friday, March 15th.
I love the bold colors and the symbolism. Yeah. Actor Alec Baldwin could stand trial in the Deadly Rust movie set shooting this summer. Jury selection in the case is expected to begin on July 9th. Baldwin faces a charge of involuntary manslaughter in the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. The actor has pleaded not guilty to the charges. Sean Diddy Combs is facing a new lawsuit from a producer on his most recent album. Rodney Jones accuses the music mogul of sexually harassing, drugging, and threatening him for more than a year. Among the allegations is that Combs forced Jones to procure sex workers and pressured him to engage in unwelcome sex acts with them and others. The documents also claim Jones recorded hours of video and audio of Combs, his staff, and others engaging in serious illegal activity. He's seeking $30 million.
U.S. Coast Guard is credited with seizing more than $143 million worth of cocaine. This was in the eastern Pacific Ocean. This is a look at the crew with 11,000 pounds of cocaine. The team had been patrolling that area for 59 days. They noticed a high-speed boat going through, and when calls to halt were ignored, the suspected smugglers threw those bales of cocaine into the sea. A second small boat team then grabbed the cocaine from the water. No word on who those smugglers are or any charges. Family Dollar will pay nearly $42 million after pleading guilty to storing products in a rat-infested warehouse in Arkansas. That's the largest ever monetary criminal penalty in a food safety case. The Department of Justice says the company admitted shipping products that had been in unsanitary conditions to more than 400 stores. Certain stores also reported receiving pest issues or damaged products. The deal requires both Family Dollar and Dollar Tree chains to meet corporate compliance and reporting requirements for the next 3 years.
We're getting our first look at the dramatic shooting at a Houston megachurch. Police released 26 minutes of body camera video that captured the deadly confrontation earlier this month at Joel Osteen's church. We want to warn you, this video includes the sound of bursts of gunfire. Here's NBC's Emily Aketa.
This morning, new video from Houston police capturing the barrage of gunfire that sent worshipers scrambling for their lives inside Joel Osteen's Houston megachurch.
I got one female shooting rifle. I'm pinned down against the balcony.
Authorities say the shooter, identified as 36-year-old Genesee Moreno, tried to enter the sanctuary, which was locked, so began firing in the lobby just ahead of a Spanish service.
Let's approach. We need to approach. Come on.
One officer heard praying before running towards the gunfire.
Father God, just be with us. Forgive us our sins.
Police say one 47-year-old church member was shot in the hip, and Moreno was gunned down after making bomb threats.
Stand down! Have bomb!
Police never found any explosives.
The TABC agent told Ms. Moreno to put her weapon down, but she refused. The agent fired his duty weapon again, striking her. She was declared deceased at the scene.
Moments before the gunfire, security footage shows Moreno pulling up to the church in a trench coat and walking in with a backpack, 2 rifles, and her 7-year-old son. The young boy is seen covering his ears during the shooting and at one point appears to reach for his mother. He was struck in the head during the shootout, but it's not clear who shot him. Over the weekend, his grandmother posted on Facebook that he's making progress and now is breathing well, but may soon face his 6th surgery since the incident. Houston's police chief tweeting, "No child should ever be placed in that position. He needs our support and prayers."
That was Emily Aketa reporting. During Moreno's divorce in 2022, her former mother-in-law said Moreno threatened people with guns and was careless with how they were stored. That included keeping an unlocked gun in her son's bag.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center after finishing last season 2-15 in NFL worst. The Carolina Panthers said they will be increasing their overall ticket prices for next season by 4%. This is the team's owner here, David Tepper. The team did not say the actual cost of a season ticket by section. They only said the most affordable season ticket package is going to be about $510. They say the lower level seating, that'll increase the most by about 7%. But the upper level seating, that's really not going to change. 90% of those seats will remain the same. The team said after further research, 93 NFL teams are planning to increase their prices.
Yeah, all 93 had better records.
Exactly. We'll see how the fans feel about that and if anyone will be buying.
Elizabeth Gardner's over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. We've been watching this all morning. It's kind of come and gone with its intensity.
We saw really intense lightning, especially up into Kentucky just a few hours ago. All that shifted northward. There's still some lightning moving on up into Pennsylvania, but for the most part, it's really started to weaken considerably. We're not likely to see any thunder and lightning here, but we're seeing some scattered light rain. We'll see that on and off up until around 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. Kind of depends on where you are. We'll start to clear from the west. Right now, we're looking at just a few waves of rain. It stretched along and east of I-95. It is likely to be a breezy afternoon, especially east of the Triangle area, and we'll talk more about that. But a few rounds of rain coming through, a more steady band that's back to the west, just starting to push into some of our western counties. So you can see that around Pittsboro, back to Siler City, Sanford, back into Moore County. We're seeing some fairly steady rain right now. And then from Rollsville down towards Smithfield, that's going to be lifting up toward Rocky Mount and Wilson, as well as up around Lewisburg and Franklinton. Let's take a look at Futurecast, and you can see this band back to the west as we get through 1 to 2 o'clock. We see that moving across the viewing area. Notice it'll be scattered, and the amounts will likely be around 1/4 to 1/2 inch. At 5 o'clock, we do have the potential for this band to be sitting over the triangle. That could cause some issues for the evening commute. It may be fairly messy. We'll start to see that lifting out of the viewing area starting around 6 o'clock or so. It's not likely to be out of our northeastern counties until around 8 or 9 o'clock this evening. And that's not the end of it. Overnight tonight, we'll have just a little light patchy rain. At 5 o'clock, you can see this little band coming through. It's not likely to be terribly wet during the morning commute. There may be some drizzle or patchy light rain, but the roads will probably be wet for the morning commute, even though we may not see much heavy falling. What we're watching for the big event is this cold front coming through. It'll be a very narrow band, but the rain will be heavy and the winds will be very strong with this. It's going to be really cold on the other side of it. We'll be in the 70s tomorrow. This starts to move into the viewing area around 4 or 5 o'clock. It's moving through the triangle between 6 and 7. And between 7 and 8, it starts to pull out. It should be mainly out of the viewing area by around 9 or 10. And then we'll start to see some gradual clearing. Out ahead of our system today, we're seeing some gustier winds around Rocky Mount to Wilson and Goldsboro, 20 to 25 miles per hour. Not as gusty around the triangle area right now, but our wind is coming out of the south. And so that's going to keep our temperatures pretty mild. We'll have some gusts this afternoon up to 30 miles per hour. And then overnight, watch how that wind really starts to ramp up around midnight or so. It is going to be a very windy day for us tomorrow. This is a look at the wind gusts. We'll be gusting to 30, 35 miles per hour in the morning, and then 35 to 40 miles per hour in the afternoon. The National Weather Service is talking about issuing a wind advisory for tomorrow. And so we'll let you know when and if that happens a little later on today. If it does, we'll be under a severe weather advisory, of course. Looking at Durham, we have our folks who are out here playing soccer. They're probably getting a little bit wet. There are some showers out there right now. They're on the lawn in front of the DPAC. 60 degrees is our current temperature. We're on our way into the mid to upper 60s later on. A little cooler in Roxborough at 54, 61 in Fayetteville, and 62 in Clinton right now. Around town, again, looking at 67 in Raleigh, 65 in Durham, and 69 in Fayetteville. Really warm tomorrow, 77, but behind the front, we're back back into the 50s Thursday and Friday with some lows in the 30s. And then over the weekend, warmer, but we're also looking at another system that could bring some rain late Friday into the day Saturday. I'll walk you through the timeline coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. By now you've heard Wendy Williams was diagnosed with a progressive form of dementia. What you might not know is that there are new discoveries about Alzheimer's happening right here in our backyard. WRAL's health reporter shares more about their research at 5:30.
And then at 6, a surge in the popularity of egg freezing. This is for families who want to start their family in the future. WRAL investigates the increase and how North Carolina insurers rank in covering those fertility treatments. There is a total solar eclipse coming in April. What if you could see it from 30,000 feet in the air? Delta Airlines is adding a second flight now for people to get a sky view of the eclipse after its first flight sold out in 24 hours. The flight is for April 8th, leaving from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport shortly after noon and arriving in Detroit at 4:20 p.m. The second flight will be on a larger plane so more people can experience the eclipse path. A ticket will cost you about $700 in the main cabin, $1,100 for first class.
An international airline is sounding the alarm ahead of summer travel. Ryanair says it may not have enough planes to fly its passengers due to the Boeing 737 MAX production delays. The low-cost carrier says Boeing reduced the number of planes it's expected to receive by the end of April. Boeing has experienced delays in its manufacturing lines after a mid-air panel blowout on an Alaska Airlines 737 MAX 9 in January. That's led to regulatory scrutiny and oversight from the FAA. The U.S. State Department is urging Americans who plan to travel to Mexico for spring break to use extra caution. The U.S. Embassy and consulates in Mexico says Americans need to remain on high alert when visiting the country. The agency cites crime, drugs, and unregulated alcohol for the increased caution. Experts also recommend that you regularly monitor your bank accounts and buy travel insurance that covers you in Mexico.
We're 3 days away from a partial government shutdown unless a deal is reached. Next at noon, what a shutdown could mean for moms and low-income families who rely on federal programs like SNAP and WIC.
And in less than an hour, the Wake County School Board will talk about using virtual panic buttons, the slow rollout of the plan, and how long it will take before all Wake County public schools have this tool. First, here's a look at the winning North Carolina Education Lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
If you have plans to head outside this afternoon, be sure you have your umbrella with you. Thanks for staying with us this noon. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking the rain. It's a wet afternoon, Elizabeth, and tomorrow will be even wetter.
We're definitely looking at a strong cold front coming through tomorrow with windy conditions and some rain. We're dealing with some scattered rain right now, especially along the I-95 corridor. Seeing some scattered rain. There's a wider band of showers working its way into our western counties right now. And as that moves into the triangle, it's going to be something you definitely want to deal with your umbrella. Starting to see some of that rain moving into Chapel Hill. It's a little drier in Raleigh right now, but again, Siler City down to Sanford. We'll head down toward Southern Pines, Carthage, Bass, Sanford, definitely seeing that rain. And this band will be shifting eastward over the next couple of hours. And you can see that here on Futurecast. By 2 o'clock, we're seeing widespread rain across a good chunk of the viewing area, except from, say, Goldsboro to Rocky Mount. But that continues to slide eastward. Still at 5 o'clock for the evening commute, we have some lingering showers, which could make for some slow going as folks are trying to head home. And it's out of the viewing area by around 8 or 9 o'clock. We have more rain, of course, in our forecast for tomorrow. I'll walk you through tomorrow's front again coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. Congress is running out of time to strike a deal to keep the government open. Lawmakers have until Friday to reach an agreement that would avoid a partial government shutdown.
WIC and SNAP are two of the programs that could be affected by a lengthy government shutdown. And today, Congresswoman Deborah Ross is touring the Western Health and Human Services Center in Cary. WRAL's Shelley Jackson is live there for us this noon. Shelley.
Well, Jeff, this center connects people with services like WIC, SNAP, and Medicaid. And as you said, Congresswoman Ross toured the facility this morning to learn more about what kind of services are offered here and how they could be impacted with that shutdown. Now, WIC supports the health and well-being of pregnant and postpartum women, infants, and young children. More than 260,000 women, children, and infants here in North Carolina use those programs and could be impacted if the federal government goes into an extended shutdown.
That means a lot of parents are going to be on waiting lists for new applicants. So anyone that is a postpartum person that is not breastfeeding will be on that waiting list. Toddlers will be on that waiting list.
We know that there's been some stockpiling of WIC that has been going on for the month of March, but if it's extended, then that will not only impact the waiting lists, it will impact the fundamental services.
Now, Congresswoman Ross is heading back to D.C. tomorrow, and that vote for the government shutdown and to fund the government will be on Friday. Jeff, Renee?
A lot of folks waiting to see what the response is for that. Shelley Jackson live for us this noon. Thank you. Super Tuesday is exactly a week away, but today all eyes are on Michigan. It'll get a lot of attention because of its status as a November swing state. Former President Donald Trump seeks to extend his winning streak. No matter the outcome, Nikki Haley still vows to stay in the race until next week. On the Democratic side, the primary could reveal if Democratic voters are committed to President Joe Biden.
A Wake County School Board committee is about to discuss an app that could make your child's school safer. The technology will allow teachers to instantly alert officials of a threat or medical emergency with the push of a button. WRAL's Ken Smith joins us now with how this app works and the next steps for the Wake School Board. Ken.
Renee, we're talking about the Rave Panic Alarm System that school personnel can download to their phones. Take a look at this video of what the app looks like on a smartphone. With the push of a button, school employees can send out an alert about a threat or a medical emergency. And as quickly as that alert is received, schools can be put on lockdown within minutes, even seconds. Parents we spoke with ahead of today's meeting are all in favor of extra layer of security in schools.
If it's easy for the faculty to access, and if it's going to bring parents peace of mind and educators and people that need to be called to the job, I think, yeah, go for it.
Well, the discussion today will focus on launching the app as a pilot program in 28 schools this spring, then rolling it out to all 200 Wake County schools in the fall. Hope County Schools and Vance County Schools already use this technology. The Wake County School Board will meet at 1 o'clock this afternoon. We will be there. Look for new reporting on this story starting at 4. Renee.
All right, Ken, thanks for that story. A consultation with a lawyer can be expensive, but one phone call this Friday will connect you with one for free. Get your legal questions answered by a licensed lawyer during Lawyers on Call. That's March 1st from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. Nearly 400 attorneys specializing in all areas of law are taking part in the statewide day of service. So get your questions ready and call in this Friday for Lawyers on Call. A nice hot shower sure feels good, but if you ever thought about turning the temperature lever all the way to the left, we'll explain the potential benefits of a cold rinse and who should avoid one.
Maybe a bath is more your thing. We'll introduce you to one that doesn't use water. We'll explain how it can help you relax. You can take WRAL with you on the go. Stay up to date with the WRAL app and watch WRAL News live anytime on your streaming device. Taking cold showers has been linked to boosting your immunity, improving circulation, and reducing pain and inflammation. But is it right for you? A cold shower could offer some relief after a workout. Research is limited as far as other health benefits like weight loss. Experts say it's best that you slowly ease into the water, but some people should avoid them altogether.
This does impact your sympathetic nervous system. And so anyone who has heart issues should avoid cold showers. We get concerns about, arrhythmias, abnormal heart rhythms, things like that.
So if you want to try the cold shower effect but aren't sure if it's safe for you, doctors stress you should speak with your physician first.
The number of people struggling with mental health issues has increased post-pandemic. While many turn to talk therapy, behavioral therapy, and medication, others are turning to sound. Sound baths are one of the most popular emerging relaxation techniques. The sessions don't use water, but instead use music and sound to induce feelings of relaxation and minimize stress. Do you feel less stress right now? Participants wear comfortable clothes and you lie across yoga mats, pillows, or blankets while being guided to find harmony within. A pilot program at Walmart will give people more access to mammogram screenings. Radiology firm RadNet launched the program in December in Delaware. It now plans to expand its breast screening service to more Walmart stores this year. The CEO says the goal is to encourage proactive, community-based health care.
The Odysseus lunar lander is now offline. Coming up, what happened to cut short this historic mission to the moon?
To see them excited about learning is more than anything.
Plus, how an out-of-this-world challenge is inspiring students across the nation.
Students across the country are participating in NASA's Plant the Moon Challenge.
After applying for the program, the students were sent everything they need to grow plants on the moon, including a bag of lunar soil. Kylie Hill spoke to a group of students about their experience.
Is it possible to grow food on the moon? That's what several Grundy High School students are trying to answer.
The fact that it could maybe end up helping something bigger than us, with space and NASA.
Students are participating in the Plant the Moon Challenge. After applying with NASA, the students were sent everything they need to grow plants on the moon, including a 5-kilogram bag of lunar soil.
The Plant the Moon Challenge is a competition that is hosted through the Institute of Competition Sciences. There's a grant that is funded through NASA, and it is for students to try to grow crops in a lunar regolith simulant, which would resemble the surface of the moon.
The team of students are growing green beans, Swiss chard, and a type of edible flower. They water the plants, measure how much each crop has grown, and test the moisture level in the soil.
We have put in daily work with data collecting and stuff like that, with our humidity levels, temperature levels, all of that.
Rochelle Deal, Grundy High School science teacher, said they applied to the challenge because she wanted to bring more opportunities for her students.
So our area in Southwest Virginia and Buchanan County is a very rural area. So when I had read the email that this was going to be a challenge that I could apply for, I knew that I wanted to bring something unique to the county.
The kids are really proud. They've asked me several times to step in the room and see the plants grow. And to see them excited about learning is more than anything. It's more than anyone could ever ask for, especially being a principal.
The students will continue to monitor their greenhouse, and the information they collect will be sent straight back to NASA, potentially helping feed astronauts on the moon for years to come.
I hope that we are able to show that we really can do this, and that such a small town can make a movement, I guess.
Now that's impact. That was Kylie Hill reporting. The students will submit their findings to NASA in April, and if NASA likes a report, they could be sent to visit the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. That's a nice treat.
It is awesome, yeah, and all in the name of science, as we go to our resident scientist right now, Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with this look at, from the satellite view, it's kind of up there.
Yeah, science is cool. That's right. We would not have this view of the rain if we didn't have satellite. The satellite, of course, is looking at the clouds, and then the radar, which is on the ground, with sending the radar beams out, is what helps us show where the rain is. We light a lot of lightning with this. Early this morning, most of that has shifted well to the north and really fizzled out. We're not likely to have any lightning and thunder with this, but we're definitely seeing the rain shifting eastward across our area, and it covers a good chunk of the southeast. It's not terribly heavy for the most part, but it's definitely steady in places. You can see Durham and Raleigh beginning to see this next band moving in. Light and patchy from Goldsboro up through Wilson and Rocky Mount up toward Roanoke Rapids. Seeing some showers right now up in Mecklenburg County, Virginia. But some of the steadier rain is from Sanford down here through Southern Pines, and it's really coming down there. You're about to start to see more of this rain moving into Fayetteville as well, moving toward Andrew and Lillington. Arlington. Let's take a look at Pinehurst. There is a lot of water on the camera lens. If you can kind of see right there, that water streaming down the lens, and the raindrops are coming down pretty heavily. There are a few people walking around out there without their golf umbrellas, but it is coming down there in Pinehurst, the Pinehurst Resort and Country Club. We'll continue to see that band sliding eastward as we get through the next few hours, and then it begins to break up a little bit around 4 or 5 o'clock. We still could have a band of showers around the Triangle area, lifting north and east away from us as we start the evening commute, and that, of course, can make for some messy conditions. So make sure you tune in before, if you happen to be watching us at work, tune in before you head home, and just know that things are going to be pretty messy, a little messier than normal during the evening commute. We're not done with that. We're going to see some light patchy rain overnight tonight and early tomorrow. By the time we get to 5 o'clock, once again, we're going to have a messy evening commute as we have a cold front that drops in over us. This looks a lot different. It's a very narrow band of rain. The rain is likely to be heavy, and it's going to be very windy with this. We're just watching to see when and if the National Weather Service will issue a wind advisory. They have said that they likely will. So that was 5 o'clock. This is 7 o'clock. So between 5 and 7, this moves across the Triangle and on into our eastern counties. And by 8 to 9 o'clock, it starts to pull out of the region. Behind it, we get into much colder temperatures. The models are trending a little earlier with the arrival of the front. Again, starting in our western counties around 4 o'clock-ish and showing up in our eastern counties as early as around 6, but then out by around 8 or 9. Very windy with this. Gusty winds in the morning, 35 miles per hour up to 40 during the afternoon when the front itself comes through, and it could be even stronger with the front itself. Turning cooler behind it, we'll be in the 70s on Wednesday, mid to upper 70s, and we're in the mid 50s on Thursday, so big drop in our temperature. The next system to come through is likely to bring us some rain late Friday, and it lifts up across the area on Saturday. By the afternoon, we may begin to dry out a little bit, but certainly it looks like a chunk of Saturday will be on the wet side. How much rain are we looking at total between now and Wednesday? Likely to be about a half an inch or so, and then maybe adding another few tenths of an inch on Saturday. 90% chance tomorrow, 50% chance on Saturday. Right now, we're going to hold on Sunday with about a 20% chance, but it certainly looks like the first half of Saturday will be the wettest part of the weekend.
Elizabeth, thanks. Your science lessons continue here on WRAL's New News. After the break, we'll explain what's making the sand glow on one beach in California.
I'll just take it by the numbers here. Winning Powerball numbers 24, 29, 42, 51, 54. Powerball 16, the multiplier 3.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today.
Police are still looking for the parents who officers say left their 8-day-old baby in Durham last night after an Amber Alert was issued. Justin Brown and Destiny Cothran left their car at the Big Lots in Durham. It's still there today, but police tell us they do not know where that couple is. Security video showed them taking the baby from the car and walking into the woods nearby.
Today, NC State's chancellor spoke on camera for the first time about the situation at Poe Hall WRAL has been reporting on for months. At many times throughout his 2-minute address, Chancellor Randy Woodson directly responds to the complaints brought forth by people in our story. Woodson's statement expressed empathy but did not present any new developments.
St. Augustine's University is waiting for a decision on its accreditation appeal. The interim president told us today that it's expected to come today. From the school's accrediting board. It's unclear, though, if that decision will be made public. The interim president also says the university will file a lawsuit if it loses its accreditation.
A historic mission to the moon is being cut short after the spacecraft entered too quickly and tumbled onto its side. The private lunar lander Odysseus stopped working this morning. Despite the setback, Houston-based Intuitive Machines says it will gather data until the solar panels lose sunlight. The premature end comes 2 to 3 days earlier than NASA and the aerospace company anticipated. Odysseus is the first U.S. spacecraft to touch down on the moon in more than 50 years. Babies with the same birthday as a popular children's author could get a free copy of The Cat in the Hat. The popular children's book was written by Dr. Seuss, whose birthday is March 2nd. Dr. Seuss Enterprises plans to give away 10,000 copies of the book to babies born this Saturday, which would have been his 120th birthday. Now, to claim the book, parents must submit proof of the child's birthday to the organization's website.
A San Diego photographer shares the moment he stumbled upon glowing sand. Take a look at these streams of electric blue This is along Sail Bay in San Diego. The mesmerizing glow there is a result of chemical reactions of bioluminescent organisms in the ocean. The glowing sand is typical after an algae bloom.
It's like nighttime glitter.
Yeah.
Our pet of the day comes to us from Triangle Beagle Rescue. Meet Anderson. Despite dealing with inoperable spinal cord compression, he remains a happy-go-lucky fella. He adores being close to his humans, soaking up all the cuddles, and his infectious, positive energy lights up the room. Anderson gets along great with other dogs and has never met a stranger. To learn more about adopting Anderson, you can go to trybeagles.org.
Netflix customers who subscribed and paid through their Apple iTunes accounts will now need to start paying directly through Netflix with a credit or debit card. Netflix stopped letting new customers sign up for in-app subscriptions on Apple devices in 2018 to avoid giving Apple a commission, but it had allowed those who were paying through iTunes to keep their payment preference.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
Get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a good day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 30.